You see, now out of choice comes want. Now, we go back to the Honda versus the Kia. If people do not understand the choices, they pick whichever is in front of them at the time. It's called impulse. You're gonna buy what you see. This is why at Publix, they have the gum, they have the candy bars, they have the 16-ounce soft drinks that are $2 when you can go one aisle down and go get a 2-liter for 99 cents. You see, the difference is gonna make the difference here. This is what's gonna sell a Mercedes versus a BMW because it's in front of your face and that's where you are. You have more of a sales niche that you're in front of that client than an agent who's representing another carrier who's not in front of the client. You see, your product's gonna mean more the way you present it. Your product's gonna look the way you present it. If you say Mercedes is better than a BMW to an individual, you need to give them a reason why. Go back to the framing video and framing section and to go rewatch it to go learn how to do that. But more importantly, when you have a Honda versus a Kia, why am I gonna buy that Honda versus the Kia? Well, it could be my mileage, right? It could be my warranty with the mileage. It could be the look with the mileage versus the name, correct? I could have a better package with the Honda versus the Kia. There's so many different variations that's gonna make the difference to make the difference, but you have to think you have one thing in common: decisions and choice. You see, I have choices out there. I can go buy an ING policy. I can go buy, I don't know, Mutual of Omaha. I can go buy United. I can buy United of Omaha. There's so many different carriers out there that we can choose from. Maybe I want West Coast Life. What's the difference? It's premium, isn't it? What's the difference in these? It's premium, isn't it? What makes them sell more than them, or BMW sell more than Mercedes? What makes Honda sell more than Kia, or Kia sell more than Honda? It's the salesperson. It's the marketing behind you. It has nothing to do with anything else. More importantly, what do you want? What do you want as a salesperson? Do you want to be a Honda salesman? Do you want to be a Mercedes salesman? You see, a Honda salesman can make more than this guy. This guy can make more than this guy, and or less. It's all the difference that's going to make the difference inside of your tonality, your speech, and inside your presentation. If you don't know how to present to the client in a closer's fashion and understand they have needs and wants and wants and needs, then you should get out of the business of sales. More importantly, let's move on. Now, customers, they need emotions. They need emotions through health. They need emotions through life insurance. You see, people will not go over the edge unless you give them that hurt, if you give them that pain and desire. You see, we have to learn to bring up things that other people can't. Being that this is an introduction to some of our newer sections, I need to tell you that we're going to go into it more depth, but customers, they need the emotions, like take life insurance. You need to bring up death. You have to. You can't just dance around it and try to be that nice guy who doesn't want to talk about it like it's not going to happen. No, you have to wow somebody inside of their face and say, yeah, God forbid if something happened to you, Mr. Jones, you decease. Well, what is your wife going to do? Seriously, what is your wife going to do, Mr. Jones? Picture this. Picture this for me. 5 years from now, your kids are now going to be 7 years old and the other one's going to be 10 years old. Your wife is going to be older as well, right? So 7 years from now, let's talk about where you're going to be financially. Well, if you're making the same amount of money from now until then, and you're only able to save $3,000 or $4,000 a year from what you have shown me, well, how is that going to be sufficient for your wife to take care of the kids? Now understand that your wife works, which is phenomenal, although if you have double income and that's all you're able to save right now, what's really going to happen? You see, Mr. Jones, you need life insurance for these reasons. And if you're telling me that you're too big and bad and it's not going to happen that soon, there's a reason why me and you are sitting in front of each other, because it has passed through your thought process. Me and you both know that this could happen and will happen. You know what, Mr. Jones? Knock on wood, it may not happen to you, but it will happen to somebody. And that's the issue. Life insurance wouldn't exist if there wasn't a reason for it. Health insurance wouldn't exist if there wasn't a reason for it. Hospitals wouldn't exist if there wasn't a reason for it. You see, Mr. Jones, things can happen. Car accidents, slip and falls, falling off the ladder, stray bullets. Mr. Jones, going out of the realm and going a little off the rocker, but I'm dead serious right now. I mean, you don't even see it on the news. We see it around each other. Every day driving to work. I live in Fort Lauderdale, driving up to Boca Raton. It's maybe a 20-minute drive without traffic, although with traffic, I'm looking at an hour. Now, Mr. Jones, there's a reason why there's traffic. It's because somebody got in an accident. Almost every morning, I drive to work. Now, that accident could be small, could be a fender bender, or it's a car flipped over, or it's 3 cars, or it's 4 cars. You see, Mr. Jones, no one knows what's what. Matter of fact, Mr. Jones, there was just a bombing after the Boston Marathon. You see, we don't know what could happen. These are all things that myself and you, we can't predict. But this is why we need health and life insurance. This is why you need to take care of your family. You need to be responsible now to be responsible later. You don't get the choice later, Mr. Jones. You don't get the choice when you don't have one. You see, Mr. Jones, you can procrastinate and you could think about this, but think about this part. Procrastination is going to lead you to a town called nowhere. And Mr. Jones, that town called nowhere, it might be the end of the line, and it may be too late. You need to make the decision when the facts are fresh in your mind, because life insurance is not complicated. God forbid if something happens, it pays you and your family out. You put the policy in a safe deposit box and or in a safe, have it held by the lawyer and attorneys. See, Mr. Jones, you need to be responsible, because I know you are. More importantly, then move on. More importantly, how do we sell? Emotion, logic, and negatives. As you can see, I brought up something really emotional. I brought up the logic saying why you needed it, right? Then I brought up the negatives, right? Of if you don't get it, here's what's going to happen, right? Your family's going to be poor. Your family's going to struggle, right? The kids can't go to school. Kids won't be able to eat right, right? Then all of a sudden, all these bad things happen. And you know what? I don't get off on doing this with clients because you know what? It's true to me. I have a daughter, and I always think about that. I have life insurance. Why wouldn't I? Every time I'm able to pick up a little bit more or do something for my future, invest the right way, I always do it. Because my child, one day, they're going to thank me. And God forbid if something ever happens, they're going to be taken care of, right? Not to say I'm going to think about, hey, I did a good job. I'm not going to be around. I want my kid to know that I thought about them. I don't want them to go ahead and move forward and say, wow, I'm really struggling. I wish Dad would have done something for me. You as a life insurance salesman, you as a health insurance salesman, you have to understand these things. Eat, sleep, and drink emotion. More importantly, excitement still sells. Guess what? How crazy is that? Actually, today, I was talking to my sales crew over in a Boca Raton location about managing their states. We have a couple of inbound campaigns coming inside of the call center, and I was discussing with them how important it is to be excited and to be overly, sometimes not aggressive or, overly, toned up, let's call it, right? Now, when I say that, I say it because people will think of you like your product or think of your product like you. Kind of like the mind controls the body controls the mind, right? The whole neuro-linguistic programming concepts or Pygmalion effect. Right? Your environment is what it is. Now, what you make of everything is going to be your interpretation of it. If you walk into a restaurant and you see handmade tables and then you see paper napkins and plastic forks, you're probably not going to think it's a very high-end restaurant. And you're going to associate that with horrible food or quote-unquote bar food. Hence, some of it could be good, but it's not going to be that 5-star restaurant steak with the waiter coming over in a tuxedo. More importantly, the way you think about things is going to be the way that you purchase things. Just like the Mercedes and the Honda, if they were both the same price, which one would you purchase? If the Mercedes was $35,000 and the Honda was $35,000, they both had the exact same warranty, exact same everything. Which one would you purchase? It's all about the status, all about the quo. How you think is everything for the consumer. More importantly, manage your state. You have to prepare yourself. Now, when I say this, the more crazed fan is over the band, right? Fan will be able to advertise them to others, word of mouth. This is the same that goes for you. Do you really think people are going to refer you out saying, yeah, that Mike Tobias guy, he was really good. He's a little miserable. Talked about how bad he hated life, and he was very monotone like this, and but I really liked him. Come on, no, you're going to say, wow, that guy really came. He looked good. He knew everything about his product. He knew everything about everything with life insurance. He answered all my questions. I was so happy. More importantly, manage your state. Okay, don't pitch weak. Don't sound weak. What happened to enthusiasm lately? I mean, so many new salespeople that are getting inside our rackets, and they're just the most miserable people ever. We are pitching not the most exciting product in the market today. We are not Michael Jordan right now. We are life and health insurance salesmen. You have to act excited about this stuff, right? This is not NASA technology, but you know what? You got to have a passion for it. You have to make people understand that it is good for them. More importantly, that you believe it's good for them. Now, if you want it, they want it. Ever tell a kid, that's my Buzz Lightyear? Immediately, the answer will begin, no, it's mine. The reason I said that, a little off the rocker, but my daughter, I take away her little Buzz Lightyear, and she starts crying, screaming, give me that, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, right? Now, if you want it, they want it. And I say, no, that's mine, no, that's mine. Argue. So you need to be able to take things away from them, but make them want it. If you take something away from somebody, they're going to want it. If you're enthusiastic about it, they're going to want it. The more a crazed fan is over a band, the more they're able to tell and tout it to everybody else. More importantly, your state right here is going to be able to manage everything. If you sound like you want it, the customer's going to want it. If you sound like you would never buy this thing, then they will sound like they will never buy this thing. And guess what? They won't buy it. More importantly, you will lose some, but gain more. Suffer the tiny loss for the good of all. It's a game. It's a game. You will kill more with enthusiasm than you will without it. Zig Ziglar always said it inside all of his seminars, inside of his books. You will sell more with enthusiasm than you will without it. Will you lose some sales? Yes, but you will gain more. All my salespeople and all the people I always tried to train over the years, most of them successfully, some of them not. And the reason why is because I'm an honest sales trainer. I would tell you I cannot change everybody. Some people are just so stuck in the mud in their ways that they think what they do works better than anything in the world. They're what I call Uncle Larry at the family barbecue. The guy who has the gift of gab and talking to everybody wearing a Bahama Mama shirt and the shorts with the beer in his hand, and everybody loves the guy. But you know what? He can't close. Can't close. I remember back in 2000, I believe it was 2, going to St. Thomas on a Continental General Insurance trip. Now, when I went there, they presented me with the Agent of the Year award. I was a very young individual. Everybody just stared at me. I was dressed young, to the hills, it is what it is. Everybody else is wearing the Bahama Mama shirts. And I outdid everybody by over $1 million of AV. And they all looked at me saying, well, how did he do it? How did he get there? How did this kid's so quiet, he doesn't even talk. Then a VP of Continental General comes up to me and he says, hey, Michael, so we just want to know how you did it. And I said, I just asked. He says, well, I'm confused. What do you mean you just asked? I said, ask people for orders. That's it. It's pretty easy to sell. Product sells itself, to tell you the truth. He says, you're a very quiet individual. And he did all the talking, trying to be funny, drinking, whatever it may be. And he said, I just don't understand how you're able to close that much. I just never met somebody as quiet as you. I guess I have to see you in action. I said, this is me in action. This is exactly what I do. You don't act this way? You see, questions already answer with everything. And I surprised everybody because everybody thinks it's talking, 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 talking. I don't have to be funny to go sell a product. Matter of fact, I don't want to be funny to go sell a product because people believe that comedians are comedians. I'm not a comedian. I'm a salesman. I'm a closer. See, closers, I ask people for money. They either say yes or they say no. If they say no, I ask them again and again and again and again and again and again until they say yes, or they shut the door on me. You see, I'm that type of guy. I won't take no for an answer. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying again. You tell me no, you close the door, or you hang up that phone, I'll call you back. I'll give you some time to settle off. I'll get you. See, the fact of the matter is, the best salespeople are closers. Closers are typically quiet people because they like to listen. If you listen to what the customer wants and what they need, closing them is the simple part. All you have to do is ask. More importantly, talents. Sales talent is innate? Think about that. Is it really innate? Is it built inside you? The answer is yes and no. It is if you want it to be. It is if you're not. Think about this. If every football player was born to play football, what happened before football was invented? See, this is what I don't get about people. Everybody always says, he was born to be a star. Well, what happened, 100 years ago when there was no such thing, right? When there was no Hollywood, right? Or 150 years ago, there was no Hollywood. When there was no, big time, Broadway shows. What happened to that? Oh, he was born to play soccer. What happened to the people, that were born before soccer was even invented? These are things I never got with anybody. Are salespeople born or are they made? The answer is both. Everybody was born. I was born one day. Did I know sales? Absolutely not. I learned it, okay? Now, was it a childhood dream of mine to become a salesman? I didn't even know. I fell into it. So no, I wasn't born a salesman. Could I talk to people? Yeah, absolutely I could talk to people. So can everybody else. So I didn't get that. So salespeople are made. Salespeople are created by themselves. I can't create you. You have to create yourself. See, I can shove all the information I can down your throats, but it's up to you to go use it. It's up to you. See, when I talk about some of these individuals that were not successful inside some of my organizations, it's because they didn't want to be. Because they were so stuck inside their own ways that they just thought they knew it all. And I said to them, not a problem. Well, then good luck to you. And they always say the same things. It's the leads. It's this. I need to change industries. I need to go sell something. I need to sell a higher ticket item. And I just wish everybody well on your way. And I want to tell them, it's not anything but you. You just don't understand it. You're not excited. You're a miserable person. All you do is blame the world for where you are. And if you are so good at sales, why are you always looking for a new job and making excuses? Real closers always find a way to be successful. More importantly, that's practical. Being practical. Practical is not blaming the company or blaming the leads or blaming the guy sitting next to you for your poor salesmanship. It's blaming yourself. If you're not reading, learning, and doing and watching the videos like you are right now, so congratulations, you're not closing. If you don't ask for the order more than once, if you don't rebuttal people, why are you in sales? Like, I get enjoyment out of that. It's a gain for me. Who cares if somebody says no? I want them to say yes, so I'm going to go at them again. Let's go, let's go, let's go. People that hear the FUs or, the eat, blah, 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 and then get all scared and skittish and run for the hills, get out. You're absolutely right. Go in customer service, right? Or go to the nail aisle over in your local hardware store and go sell that. Because you know what? This is not the business for you. This is the business of hard knocks where you can make a lot of money. But this right here, you got to have a straight face and just not care about the abuse that you're going to take. More importantly, nothing to do with the gift of gab. Again, to Uncle Larry, talking loses sales. Once again, stop talking. Stop talking. I know one salesperson that can talk a lot and close, but only because they talk a lot and keep asking for the order. I don't know how he does it, but he's really good at it, although can't lead people, and that's always been his failure. It's a close friend of mine. Now, if he was able to not only ask for the order and shut up, and then teaches salespeople the same thing, he would be a lot further along than where he really is. So it's kind of self-defeating prophecy. More importantly, less is more. Say less. I'm telling you, just ask a question. So, Mr. Jones, how much do you want to pick up? $250,000 or $300,000? Mr. Jones, how much life insurance would you rather have? $4 million or $4.5 million? If it was me, I'd go with the 4.5. What do you think? Always ask people questions. Just go and shut up. Don't keep talking. You have to play all roles in a company. This is something that I want to kind of end our introduction with. You have to be the CEO, the CFO, the accountant. You have to be customer service, sales, the senior account executive, the VP. You have to be the chief operating officer. You have to be the attorney. You got to be compliance. You have to be the licensee, licensor. You have to be everything, for God's sakes. Because if you aren't, your customers, they don't like you. You have to know everything because you represent your company. If you went to the bank and a teller told you, sir, we can't deposit your check, and you said, but I have an account here. And they said, yeah, well, I don't see it. It's not coming up in the computer. And then they said, well, let me get a manager. Then all of a sudden a manager comes over and says, oh, okay, sir, I apologize for that. I found you right here. You're going to think the bank's what? Incompetent. Let's be honest with each other. Seriously, you're going to think they're incompetent. If somebody says to you, I can't do this, and you said, what are you talking about? You just did it for me last week. And then they say, well, let me go ask. And then they come back and say, oh, you're right, sir. I can do that. What are you going to think? The company stinks, right? If you're going to go to one Burger King, they're going to say, oh, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have that. And then they make you wait at the window for 10, 20 minutes. Well, you're going to think Burger King is what? In general, horrible, right? But it's not. We put an image on everything. We place the image. We could think Burger King is phenomenal, and it will be. We could think that TD Bank is phenomenal because they're open on Sundays. We could think SunTrust is phenomenal. Bank of America is phenomenal. We could put anything at the tip of our tongue and make people believe it if we believe it and if you treat them right. You have to give them the image and understanding that these things are great, that you are great. And guess what? They will refer you and you will make money.